me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Good morning, you guys.
Today. So good morning to those of you online. Good morning to those of you here in the center this morning. So if you are local and you've been thinking about it, we still have plenty of room here. So just get yourself on down here sometime soon. We'd love to have you. And we're joined today by Reverend Nancy Woods, our assistant minister. And Lily's back, and we have Jason doing the music today. So, and we have you online as well. So, welcome one and all. So let's just start by taking a deep conscious breath and release as we allow ourselves to surrender to this eternal now moment, recognizing and knowing that there is but one power expressing in, through, and as this call for service this morning, that we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence which we call spirit. That fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Nancy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. That we light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic Religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The 9th candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, for the space we hold for them here at our center, within our online community, and within our own hearts. And as Reverend Nancy lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own souls. There is one flame, one light within.
It is with a very grateful heart we step into this time and place in appreciation. So I open my heart with love to welcome the opportunity to share and understand that the spiritual presence of light has given us this hour together. As we have gathered in the idea of love, we have gathered in the understanding and awareness that the infinite intelligence is what's guiding and directing everything that unfolds and manifests, from the music to the message to those who are in service of presenting this program this morning. And we welcome each and every one that's in attendance, whether they're online or in person, to know that we are all gathered into this in this place under the idea that love brings us together and brings us to that place and that time and that understanding that the infinite intelligence that created all things is that which created each one of us. So we rest in this idea and we embrace this idea and we allow it to be that which brings forth what is being shared this morning. So, in true appreciation, I welcome this opportunity. And I welcome each one here and online to join me in knowing this truth and appreciation of this truth as we say together, and so it is. Good morning. I was smiling because earlier this morning when we did the first service, I was telling them how appreciative I was to be back. And I thought about it. I said, okay, that what you do in the first service is usually what you repeat in the second service. But sometimes it's challenging when it comes from your heart to remember what you said the first time. But what I want to say is that I am appreciative of opportunity to be back here in this church and this community, because I really feel like this is really a blessing, an opportunity that y'all have blessed me with the opportunity to stand here and share my understanding and appreciation of Spirit itself. And I always see that as a gift. So doing it for the last year has really, I feel like it has blessed my life tenfold. For all the times in the preparation and the work and that it takes to be here, I'm grateful. And I'm grateful to be able to do this. And I realize that each opportunity that I get to share my understanding and awareness of spirit does enrich my own understanding of it, because when I verbalize it, it becomes much more of a focus in a direction where it's taken out of the mind along with all that other extra stuff that's in there. And when I verbalize it, it becomes a solid thing for me. So I think it is a wonderful opportunity each and every time I get to share this. And one of the things that I'm sure I want to share with you today is that my recent experience with working with the spiritual presence is I understand and appreciate that things change, we evolve, and knowing that each and every aspect of life serves its purpose is freeing me in some ways to not judge and evaluate everything that I hear, to understand and know that it has its place and its purpose, and I don't have to get involved in it, and that it also reinforces the understanding and awareness of that statement that Jesus said that look beyond appearances. And each time I hear or experience something, it's a chance for me to practice that seeing beyond appearances and see the divine presence that is always there, that is always in front of me, that is always in each and every person. And knowing this is knowing and understanding that it's kind of a freedom in practicing that truth. And, you know, the teachers taught us so many wonderful ways to live life from this divine center that sometimes even bouncing around, we get distracted with the bouncing around. But if we can stay with the understanding that I got, if I can stay with the understanding that I got through studying with a science of mind, I find that it is much easier for me to stay focused on the truth that God is all that there is. And I know and appreciate even more that this philosophy has given me this wondrous experience of being here with people that are on the spiritual path, and that people that are looking towards living and expressing life from this place of truth. And I know that we all on this journey, and I've seen and understood the many ways and many challenges that that different people have had, that they had to walk through and still know that spirit is all that there is. And that foundation has given the strength, the love, the joy, the peace, the whatever is necessary for us to walk through whatever needs to be walked through. So I am grateful to not only have this opportunity, but grateful for all the people that are joining me on this path, but grateful for all the things that have unfolded as a result of this experience. There's a lot of love in this place, a lot of love. And love is just a rich place to be immersed in, anytime and any place. And I love it. And thank you for letting me share that.
Good morning, you guys. I would like to welcome up Miss Lily Passero, my beautiful wife. Yeah. In the flesh.
I love this new intro. I keep talking about how beautiful I am.
Let's not get ahead of
All
ourselves.
right. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for that reminder on gratitude. This seems so simple, but it's always so good to come back to that. Yeah. Yeah. It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor, but then again, no, or a man who makes potions for a traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is. Now you're in the world. Sat on the roof and I kicked off the moss. Well, a few of these verses, well, they got me quite crossed, but the sun's been quite kind while I wrote this song. It's for people like you that keep it turned on. So excuse me for getting, but these things I do, you see, I've forgotten if they are green or they're blue. Anyway, the thing is, what I really mean, yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is. Now you're in the world. I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is. Now you're in the world. Thank you, guys.
She has the most beautiful voice, and I want to tell you I sound just like that in the shower by myself, but I don't. It is so beautiful. We're so happy to see you. And by the way, if you didn't know, they are a newly wedded couple. And we have We've had a chance to congratulate Jason, but this is the first time we've seen Lily as a married woman, so that was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, what a couple, hey? So welcome. We're happy to see you all here. It is wonderful to be back in person, and there's plenty of room at the inn. So I know a couple of people are showing up without reservations, and right now that's fine because we're not at capacity yet. But we are taking reservations, so if you have a chance to pop online and go ahead and reserve a seat, that would be great. But like I said, we're still not at capacity, and you're all welcome to come on down and join us, those of you online. We would be so happy to see you here in person. I think we're still taking 20, Reverend Mike, is that right? Yes, 20, so there's room at the inn. As usual, if you would like prayer support, the practitioners are available online at cslgh.org, as is our online practitioner who is in Arizona, and she would be happy to pray with you always. I know Sherry is always happy to pray with you. We are having our Zoom fellowship meeting today at 11:45, so if you want continuous fellowship, you can go online at 11:45, and today's Zoom fellowship is facilitated by our own Agneta Byland, who is also out of state, but more than available and happy to be present here online with you. Reverend Mike's Advanced Metaphysics class is, it just started last Tuesday, and there's still room, right, Rev? So that's going to be on, it's 10 weeks, and there's going to be 3 sessions, 3 10-week sessions, and it does fulfill the requirements for the practitioner track. So if you're looking to be a practitioner and you've had all the prerequisite classes, this is the way to go. And that's on Tuesdays at 6:30. Online and in person still, or just online? Online and in person. The Law of Attraction group is meeting next Sunday at 1 o'clock, facilitated by our own Mike Carland. And the Healing Support group, also Sunday, October 10th, with Reverend Jessica at 1 o'clock. And the Granada Hills Street Fair is October 23rd, and we will have a booth there. So if you're interested in participating as filling in at the booth, that would be great. We'd love to have you there. If not, just pop on by and say hello. And that is from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. And it's lots of fun. There's music and food, and it's going to be fun. And then last but not least, actually not last and not least, is living intentionally, setting your intentions for 2022 with our own Reverend Nikki. And that is starting on November 7th. And I want to say that there is a Goldsmith class coming up, probably at the end of the month, with Reverend Nancy and myself. Wow. So we are happy you're here. Please give yourselves a round of applause for coming out and joining us. And we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. You know what I want to acknowledge? Aren't these flowers beautiful? Yes. I know, I love beautiful live flowers. And thank you, Rosalie. They warm my heart. Oh, so now would you join me as we say the declarations of principles? We believe in one universal spirit manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal too and reveals itself to everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life, in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in eternal goodness, eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
Heaven's inside. the spirit and nature within and without. Now that I know that God's right here, right now. Heaven's inside of me. Heaven's inside of you. Heaven's inside of you. The spirit and nature within and without. Now that you know that God's right here, right now. The heavens inside of you. Heaven's inside of us. The heavens inside of us. The spirit and nature within and without. Now that we know that God's right here, right now. The heavens inside of us. The heavens inside of us. The heavens inside of us. The spirit and nature within and without. Now that I know that God's right here, right now. Your heavens inside of us. Your heavens inside of us. Your heavens inside of us.
All right. Well, I want to say good morning again to our folks online if you just are joining us. However you may be watching, whenever you may be watching, just know that you're most welcome to join us. We're glad you're here. And you may not agree with everything you hear here, but you will certainly hear something you agree with. And hopefully be provoked to think deeper about the divine as you understand it to be and your relationship with it. So, welcome. Yeah. I also want to say that I'm thrilled that we have an honored guest here this morning. Not that you're not all honored guests, but certainly one of the first staff ministers when I started coming here to the center, Reverend Susie Andrews is here joining us. So it's really wonderful to see you and welcome. Yeah, welcome home. Yeah. Yeah. So Reverend Susie was like, a fixture here for many years. Yeah.
And I asked her if this was her first time here.
That's awesome. Yeah. She goes, no, I know where the bathrooms are. Yeah, in fact, she was here before we had the extra bathrooms. Yeah. So, and happy 1st October, happy first Sunday of October, I should say, which means that we are setting a new monthly theme for our focus, Going Further Together. Going Further Together. Our talk title today is Divine Community. And isn't that a sweet little photograph of going further together? And this notion of going further together has its inspiration from an African proverb, which reminds us that alone we can go faster, together we can go further. Alone, we can go faster, together we can go further. Now, if we think on this for a moment, can we not see how this could be true? Think about life in marriage and family, for instance. Alone we can go faster, together we can go further. In our careers, right? So we can certainly go off and lone wolf it, and it might be faster, but we're going to go further if we can solicit support within our company to support the vision maybe that we have and the direction that we're going. And this extends even to our greater community, whether it's on the local neighborhood council on up. So, alone we can go faster. Together we can go further. And with the talk notes prepared this morning by Reverend Kathleen Beasley, I think she's a pretty new minister out in Central Florida, the Central Florida Center for Spiritual Living to be exact. We are going to consider how alone we can go faster. Together we can go further in the ways that this notion is both true and then maybe even untrue in spiritual community. True and untrue. True in that we all have our own work to do, right? So we have our reading, we have our study that we do. These are solitary practices often, sometimes in class. Certainly our prayer and meditation work is a solitary enterprise. This we do on our own. But to put into practice the stuff that we're learning, we need to have people around. Right? In spiritual community, we can practice in here what we're learning about ourselves, what we're learning about others, and how to get along with others, how to build community with others. We can practice that here and then take that out there, say to the street fair on October 23rd. And what is it that we are practicing, right? So we're practicing to see the face of the divine in people that we share some perspective of life with. Certainly this is true in spiritual community. We're sharing some perspective of life from a spiritual perspective, and yet we may still have strong differences in the world of form. Everything out there is the world of form. So we may have differences there. But at the level of spirit, of course, we know that we are all one. That we practicing the divine within the face of each one here in divine community. We practice that so that we can take it out there with the possibility then of building beloved community in the world of form. So one of the things, for instance, just a little way that this happens, even from an extension of what we do here in Granada Hills, I'm also a member of the Granada Hills Business Improvement District. And so this really goes to, it's faster alone, but you go further together, right? Because it really takes a community effort to do a lot of it. So they're the ones who put the trees in and the medians, and they do all the things that you really don't see that help keep a community together, like the street cleaning and the tree trimming and all these other things. It's really kind of a beautification effort, so the seeds that were planted there created this field then for the Friday night food trucks, for instance, to happen, which is a great community thing. So this time of year, it starts to get really nice in regular times. And I haven't been down here in a while, and I imagine it's getting better since we are outside. I'm sure that I saw some of the trucks last week. So we practice in here, and then we take it out there, right? And so they no longer think we're those weird hippies in that place, right? Because I participate at this level. And I know that some of you are going into Rotary and onto your own neighborhood councils or trade groups or whatever that you do, giving witness to the power and presence of the divine by means of your life, and it's affecting people for the good, even if they're not saying anything about it. They notice, because your consciousness always arrives before we do. Alone we can go faster, together we can go further. Also recognizes a basic need, a basic human need to belong. So one of my favorite poets and writers is John O'Donohue, who is a friend of David White. And he wrote this in his book, So Anam Cara, many of you have heard of Anam Cara. He wrote another deep book entitled Eternal Echoes, and this is from that. To be human is to belong. That belonging is a circle that embraces everything. If we reject it, we damage our nature. That the word belonging holds together two fundamental aspects of life, being and longing. The longing of our being and the being of our longing. That belonging is deep. Belonging is deep. Only in a superficial sense does it refer to our external attachment to people, places, and things. It is the living and passionate presence of the soul. That belonging is the heart and warmth of intimacy. The heart and warmth of intimacy. When we deny it, we grow old and empty. So I was saying earlier today, believe it or not, I turned 65 this year. No. Susie. 65. So I don't want to grow old and be empty. Right? So I like this idea of belonging, because I know that part of what's keeping me vital is my spiritual community. Not because I run it, but because I'm in it. Right? That we're doing this together. Right? You get it? Because I'm just the guy working out my stuff just like you are. I'm just talking about it. So our life's journey then is the task of refining our belongings so that it may become true, loving, good, and free. Our life's journey is the task of refining our belonging so that it may become true, loving, good, and free. So I wanted to speak to the notion of belonging first this morning to set up this month's theme of going further together. And today's talk title of the divine community, which I think is another word for beloved community. Beloved community is a word that Dr. King back in the day used a lot. And it's the idea of really building community where we have the courage to love each other. To love each other enough to where we can all be authentic and we can all be seen, honored, and respected. Now, Dr. Jim Lockhart, our friend over at, used to be the minister over in Simi Valley before Reverend Stephen took over, he said this in one of his videos that I was watching, that in beloved community, we want to show up as whole, as whole and complete as we possibly can. Otherwise we tend to do no good or even possibly harm. Now, this is especially true for those of us who lead, right? Whether it's leading in spiritual community or leading our own companies, right? Because we don't really think about our companies as beloved community. But if we want to thrive as a business owner, we're going to want our people to thrive as our employees. We're going to have to create a conscious caring, which, love is as good a word as any, right? So that we can go further together, so that we can be profitable longer. So it's in our best interest. In beloved community, you want to show up as whole and complete as we possibly can. Otherwise, we tend to do no good, right? We're not profitable, right? Or we even lose money, right? Or we possibly do harm. Now, why would this be? When we are feeling complete and whole, I know you know this to be true. When we're complete and whole, we are better prepared to take on the human condition with its trials and tribulations. Let's not pretend that stuff's not going on at the level of effect. And the people that may trigger it. Now, I was sharing earlier that today I had an interesting start of the day because my computer froze up. My computer froze up before I was able to print my talk, right? And so I'm trying to figure out how to get it unfroze. And then I went to print it, and then I was out of printer ink. Right? And so I was just like doing the next indicated thing, right? Where this is an interesting departure from the past is this would be a perfect opportunity for a swear fest with all my favorite consonants and, you know, kicking the chair and stubbing my toe in the process, making things worse. But I was pretty calm. I was pretty chill. And that's kind of been my thing. Like in material things, I've been able to keep my cool for the most part. And this is really a demonstration of a lot of work that I have done in the years that I have been in this teaching, which means I've been uncovering, discovering, and discarding the things that no longer serve me, like my little angry fits, right? And instead allowing a greater expression of life by means of me. So the human condition with it, trials and tribulations, and yet sometimes people trigger it, right? And I have found it easier to practice this stuff in here than out there, because people will cut you some slack in here, where the world may just beat you up over it. And still, even here, people are people, right? And they may do things that annoy us. No one in here, though. Nobody online. Right? They still bring their insecurities that then trigger our own insecurities. Right? There's some striving and rivalry that sometimes goes along with it, even in spiritual community. But even in all of that, it's okay to look at the face of God within all. Especially here. Practice doing that here, so that we can then take it out in the world. Because the world needs us to give witness to something greater than what's expressing. There's a lot of discord going on. Right? So we can practice being loving with each other in here. Finding the courage to turn the other cheek. By the way, to turn the other cheek also means that we can do this in a spiritually healthy way and have good boundaries. Right? So it's not about being a doormat. We don't turn the other cheek so someone can use us as a doormat. But we do practice responding rather than reacting. We transcend our insecurities, maybe even our arrogance, certainly our error thinking, and instead respond with loving kindness and compassion. Loving kindness and compassion, because as Reverend Nancy was speaking to earlier, at the end of the day, it truly is about love. It's about love. Holmes himself said that love is the only final security. Right? So love is the only answer for our little insecurities. Love is the only final security in the universe. Love is the greatest healing power in the universe and the only thing that binds people together in a community of spirit. So whether it's in here or out there, love is the answer. Who is that? England Dan, right? But the idea is that to transcend any of this stuff, right, we're going to have to find ways to sprinkle ample portions of love and mix all that in there. And that takes a lot of courage, I think, at least for a guy like me, right? Because I don't want to appear soft, right? Not that it's kind of an open secret, but I don't think I'm that unusual from many people. And yet, we all know, right? We all know when we soften up, we can go deeper. When we can go deeper, we can change our life for the good. Because underneath all of it, then, life is consciousness. That there is this universal, infinite power and presence, a field of mind, both impressing and expressing itself in, through, and as all of life. That we're co-creating this experience with life. And so is everyone and everything else also. So a grasshopper is co-creating life with this divine intelligence. Right? A caterpillar that emerges out of its cocoon and becomes a butterfly. Right? So you can think of your own metaphors about how this is true. And that love is the propulsion, the power behind all of it. Holmes goes on to say that, one too many? Yeah, love really is a fulfillment of the law of good. That love alone can heal the world and enable people to live together in unity and in peace. And that, again, compassion and caring are the ties that bind us together in mutual understanding and in the unified attempt to uncover the divinity within each other. Now, I get it that some days that's kind of a what an order, I can't go through with it proposition. Yeah. But the thing is that we just stay with it. It is a practice. It's a spiritual practice. And we might have to start over, several times a day. Right? But if we stick with it, we are bound to be successful. And the payoff is great. So compassion and caring are the ties that bind us together in mutual understanding. Now this is not just the musings of an old guy several decades ago in Ernest Holmes, but now there's scientific proof that backs all this up. So the teacher Brené Brown, who's a PhD, clinical psychologist, very popular speaker now, she wrote this, that a deep sense of love and belonging is an irreducible need of all people, that we are biologically, cognitively, physically, and spiritually wired to love, to be loved, to love and to be loved, which means there's a receptivity thing to that. When someone's being soft with us, a receptivity to that, and to belong. Now, these ties that bind us is that belonging that O'Donohue is speaking to. The belonging is intuitive in its necessity. And when we pay attention and are able to identify it. Because our bodies know that they belong. It is our minds that make our lives so homeless. So that's O'Donohue the poet, right? Our minds that make our lives homeless. Guided by longing, belonging is the wisdom of rhythm. That we are in rhythm with our own nature. Things flow and balance naturally when we're in that space. Every fragment does not have to be relocated, reordered. Things cohere and fit according to their deeper instinct and impulse. And that our modern hunger to belong is particularly intense. An increasing majority of people feel no belonging. We have fallen out of rhythm with life. That the art of belonging is the recovery and wisdom of rhythm. And so this is good to remember as we emerge out of our own cocoon of COVID, right? That our goal here is to create beloved community. And this will require a qualitative and a quantitative change in our lives, a qualitative change in our souls, as well as a quantitative change in our lives. And of course, we cannot give away something we haven't got. So once again, we are reminded that life is consciousness, that it starts with ourselves. And so as we consider moving forward from this point into the rest of our day, consider the ways in which we can engage in life in a deeper way. To practice seeing the divine in all of life, but particularly in people that we meet. That cultivate that sense of belonging throughout this day, and take that into our week and see how life changes. And then come back and check in with each other next week.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear and there's no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for 1,000,000 years, oh, to make you feel my love. Yet, but I would never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met, no doubt in my mind where you belong. I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue, I'd go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I would not do to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling sea and on the highway regret. The winds of change are blowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. I can make you happy, I can make your dreams come true. There's nothing that I would not do. I'd go to the ends of the earth for you, to make you feel my love, to make you feel my love.
Lily Passero, everyone. Let's give her some love. Love her on the chat. Throw some in for Jason, too.
Thank you, thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
So just imagine if we knew, right, as beautiful as that song was and the way that it touched you, if you knew that the Spirit was singing that to your heart, right? Because it is. It is. Very nicely done. Nice little vocal and piano riffs there. Nicely done. Yeah. All right, so it is time for our practice of generosity, or the offering, if you like. And if you've come prepared today to make a physical offering here, oh, thank you, Chloe. You want to put that other, there you go. Just take that one back. Thanks, kid. So, well, you know the menu. Those of you who are online, there are donate buttons which will take you to PayPal. It's totally secure. And for those of you, this is what it looks like on your phone. This is what it looks like on YouTube. That's what it looks like on Facebook. So there's many avenues to practice generosity. And for those of you who continue to send your mail-in donations, of course, we are grateful for all of it. And thank you on behalf of our spiritual community. Thank you very much. And so Jason will take us into our offering. And for those of you who are coming up, you know the deal. Just come on up one at a time.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit gives through you, Spirit receives through you, Spirit lives and breathes through you. Spirit lives and breathes through you. Spirit gives through us. Spirit receives through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us. Oh, the Spirit lives and breathes through us.
So this basket here represents the many avenues by which your generosity makes its way to our center. And it's also a symbol that represents the giving consciousness of the individual that knows and knows that it knows that God is our source, our substance, our supply. And so however the many avenues of good make their way to our center, we as the heart of community accept these gifts with deep love and respect, as we know together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless not only the vision and mission of this center, but anyone connected to this center in any way. That we extend this blessing to our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know for our planet as well that all of it is an emanation, in some crazy cosmic way, is an emanation of the consciousness of the divine itself. And to the extent that we know this to be so, we see it demonstrating in ways great and small. We see that which we are called to do, and we have the power to step in and to do that which we are called to. This empowers us with a sense of power and grace that raises us into ways of spiritual living that not only raise our own lives, but the lives of those around us. And that's a good thing. And so we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So let's give Lily a little more married love. I'm just so tickled. I got to tell you, they had a beautiful wedding. It was just, Ken and Erica and I got to be there, and it was pretty amazing. And they did their own vows, which was very cute also. Yeah. So anyway, congratulations once again. And there was something that I wanted to mention, but it slipped my mind. So let's thank Reverend Nancy for being our presider today, and pray us out, Rev.
I appreciate the opportunity to know and to understand that the infinite intelligence has guided us to this experience, and that what has unfolded today has just reminded us the wondrous experience of being in a spiritual community. And we know that this is a divine community. We know that what we are sharing and experiencing in here is the love of the universe, uniting us in awareness that we are its expression in life. So as we go forth from this experience, knowing this and understanding this, we know that we have been able to touch that inner awareness in such a way that we have even more love to take out into our community, into our families, and into all our experience. And knowing that that love is not only for our awareness in sharing with each other and moving forward. It is blessing our bodies, our creativity, and our experience of expression in every way. And for this, we are grateful. And I just love the idea that we are the divine expression of life together. And together, let's acknowledge it by saying, and so it is.
Please join me in singing the peace song. Here we go.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as the power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Thank you. Thank you.